Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and there is a ton going on that I've got to show you today. So strap in, and we're going to start with the chairman of the Federal Reserve talking about inflation as if he's an innocent bystander, and as if his central bank has not caused the freaking problem for over 20 to 50 years of devaluing our money and money printing and bailouts and QE 1, 2, 3 and TARP and this and that. And he's an innocent bystander now, and they're just shocked by this inflation.
I think we're experiencing a big uptick in inflation, bigger than many expected, bigger than certainly than I expected. This is a shock going through the system associated with reopening of the economy, and it's driven inflation well above 2%. And of course, we're not comfortable with that. This particular inflation is just unique in history. We don't have another example of the last time we reopened a $20 trillion economy. One way or the other, we're not going to be going into a period of high inflation for a long period of time because, of course, we have tools to address that. If we see inflation expectations or the path of inflation moving up in a way that's troubling, then we will react appropriately.
Reminds me of the central banker toolkit. Okay. Now, Jeremy Hogan had put this out today, so they now have a phone number for the call-in. He says, XRP people, it's time. Get on this conference call today so the judge knows this is important for you to the future of this industry in the good old USA and elsewhere. I can't believe this was docketed literally 5 minutes ago after I checked, So here it is. The phone numbers are down here in his tweet. I will be trying my best to call into that to hear what they have to say. That's the Hinman hearing, by the way. Then we've got this. This is interesting. This is John Deaton's law firm Twitter handle. A review of why the SEC should not be allowed to block a deposition of William Hinman. John Deaton weighs in this article, and I wanted to read you part of this. It's really good stuff. His line of questioning would include Hinman's relationships with Ethereum via Simpson Thacher, in which he is a partner. The law firm sits on the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, a coalition of organizations devoted to the business case for the Ethereum blockchain. During his time at the SEC, he said, offers and sales of Ether are not securities transactions, in a speech that's still available on the SEC's website, while receiving millions in payments from the law firm while he was at the agency. If that was not a clear conflict of interest, then he needs to explain why under oath. And Deaton also pointing to a speech 3 days earlier that the SEC tip-off of Hinman's Simpson Thacher colleagues before the market. The attorney then pointed to Hinman's meeting with the Ethereum Foundation after the Ethereum speech. In the discovery phase, Ripple has apparently forced Hinman to admit he met with the Ethereum Foundation, Consensus, and other very relevant market participants after his 2018 Ethereum speech. Why didn't the market know about this before now? Did the man in charge of no action letters on cryptocurrency offerings discuss his Ethereum speech in private with these key market participants? Did they discuss rival coins? Let's have him walk us through all those conversations under oath. In regard to Hinman's views being just a personal opinion and not policy, Deaton says nonsense. Not only the news referred to a senior SEC official declaring that Ethereum is not a security, but Hinman's never personally corrected the record. The attorney then reminded that Hinman said later in 2018 that his Ethereum speech got a lot of attention because it was the first time we had expressed to the world that we didn't view the Ether as a security. We meant the SEC. Pure and simple, Hinman needs to be questioned under oath extensively about all the events leading up to the Ethereum speech and afterward to clearly paint a believable picture as to how this market-shaking speech was just his opinion as a private citizen. Exactamundo. Good for John Deaton. He laid it down. Okay. Then Tom Emmer, one of the good guys in this space, tweeted this out today. Today I introduced the Securities Clarity Act with Representative Darren Soto and Ro Khanna. This bipartisan innovation-friendly bill would provide regulatory certainty for digital currencies. Read more here. And he says down here, he says, my bill, the Securities Clarity Act, establishes a framework for the SEC to swiftly determine what digital assets are securities. Visit my website to learn more. Well, I did that, and so here we go. Check this out. I wanted to read this part. The legislation solidifies the status of any asset sold as the object of an investment contract, a term more than 75 years of jurisprudence, by proposing a new definition, investment contract asset. The Securities Clarity Act states that an investment contract asset, for example, a digital token, is separate and distinct from the securities offering that it may have been a part of. The approach is technology neutral and applies equally to all assets offered and sold, whether tangible or digital. This new defined term would refer to any asset sold as a part of an investment contract that would not be considered a security, but for its sale as a part of an investment contract. Nice, good stuff. So I have added Representative Tom Emmer. I already tweeted out that Brian Brooks and Chris Giancarlo are the good guys of this industry. I'm adding Representative Tom Emmer. Next, Gold Telegraph breaking news. The world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, is not authorized to carry out activities in Italy, the country's market watchdog. So here's what we've got, folks. Binance, almost on a daily basis, they're getting shut down in different countries. Binance.com. Now remember, Binance.us is separate. The way Brian Brooks described it, Binance.us bought licensing as a completely separate entity in the United States from Binance, okay? So it's not tied to Binance.com. I wanted to make that clear, but it looks like people are going after anyone associated with Binance, whether it's .com or US, because this was a literal hit piece on Brian Brooks today. Hiring of Binance US CEO created rifts with Circle, Coinbase sources, okay? Look, I wonder if these sources are like BitBoy's sources. I wonder if they're mega high level inside sources, but they are sources. We just don't know who they are. So that'll be, I will put extreme uber high level sources on the thumbnail of this video. According to multiple reliable sources, here maybe that's the phrase I need to use. Multiple reliable sources. Brooks joined Binance US just as he was on the cusp of accepting the job of president at stablecoin giant Circle. His decision blindsided Circle, who's Goldman Sachs backed, and led some to speculate he pursued the Circle job as a means of to leverage a better offer from Binance. Brooks' approach also rankled Coinbase, which is a Circle ally and Binance competitor, and Brooks' former employer, for which he is still consulting at the time he took the Binance job. Circle and Coinbase declined to publicly comment on Brooks' move to Binance US, and Brooks did not respond to a text message asking for comment. Despite the ill will created by Brooks' move to Binance, particularly with Coinbase's sources say that CEO Jeremy Allaire has personally kept a line of communication open with Brooks. More broadly, Brooks has become a polarizing figure in crypto circles. A Colorado native who masks a fiery streak under a bookish effect. He became a hero to crypto types during his tenure at OCC as their acting head. His detractors describe Brooks as a ruthless careerist with an outsized ego who leaves factions in his wake. His appointment at Binance US also proved controversial as it precipitated the abrupt and unceremonious ouster of the company's former CEO, Catherine Coley, who used to work at Ripple. The scrutiny, anyway, I thought this was a pretty big hit piece on this guy. He's been nothing but good to the crypto space, and so I give him the benefit of the doubt. He is still in the good guy club in my book. Okay, now Jerome Powell from the Federal Reserve has been testifying before Congress. Here's a couple of clips.
You're right, but let me say though, with cryptocurrencies, it's not that
they didn't aspire to be a payment mechanism. It's that they've completely failed to become one, except for people who desire anonymity, of course, for whatever reason. So that's why I included it. But I would completely agree. Really, the question is stable coins. And my point with stable coins was that they're like money funds, they're like bank deposits, and they're growing incredibly fast, but without appropriate regulation. And if we're going to have something that looks just like a money market fund or a bank deposit or a narrow bank, and it's growing really fast, we really ought to have appropriate regulation, and today we don't.
And I would assume, thank you for that. I would assume that you...
Okay,
right.
And then we've got this clip.
Thank you. I want to switch to stable coins and pick up where Mr. McHenry left off, specifically on Tether. So in recent months, there's been increased scrutiny of the stablecoin Tether due to concerns regarding the assets backing the coin, particularly the amount backed by commercial paper as opposed to US dollars, which is what they originally said. President Rosengren said that Tether does create a challenge and that we need to take seriously what happens when people run from these instruments very quickly. Do you share these concerns, and how, is that the sort of thing that you'll be looking at and providing guidance on with the white paper?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I mean, commercial paper, are short-term overnight obligations from companies, and most of the time they're investment grade. Most of the time they're very liquid. It's all good. But in both of the last two financial, during the acute phase of the crisis, the market just disappears, and that's when people will want their money. So, it's very simple. These are economic activities that are very similar to bank deposits and money market funds, and they need to be regulated in comparable ways. That's how I see it.
Thank you. The gentleman...
Okay, interesting stuff. Okay, and then this article from CNBC said that Saquon Barkley is going to convert. The reason I was thinking about this football stuff is my fantasy football league draft is coming up quick. Got the date today. Saquon Barkley is going to convert his endorsement money into Bitcoin. So I said, hey, Saquon, go to Uphold and convert it into XRP. Why not? And then I just had to show you this because our world has gone completely bonkers mad, okay? This is an article I saw in the New York Post. Shark advocates call for rebranding violent attacks as interactions. So we can't have shark attacks now. They've got to be called interactions because somebody out there in the world has been offended by this that loves sharks. This is too stupid for me to even talk about, so I'm moving on. Okay, I wanted to let everybody know on Link2, which is one of my sponsors, and I'm a customer of theirs, they have just added Ripple private equity to the platform at $35. These things do not last long, so folks, if you're an accredited investor and you've been waiting to get your hands on some of this, after this video comes out, that stuff goes pretty quick. I'm just telling you. They sold out of Uphold yesterday. I think yesterday. They got a little bit of Link2. They got a little bit of Kraken left too. These opportunities are not going to be around long, in my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that Ripple private equity is on the Link2 platform. Drop it like it's hot. Get it while it's hot.